That's a good picture. Yeah. That is really neat.
1956.
Yeah, 1956. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at that. I mean, that's a big deal here when the run comes through.
Getting ready to. Really, yeah. That was gonna get ready to do. Jesus. Well, I'm glad you guys are doing this.
Well, yeah.
I love this picture.
This is actually the beginning of something big. We're
You
trying
don't
all
sell
over
this
Cascadia, doing up to Vancouver Island.
You don't
and
sell
all
this.
places.
Uh-huh.
And lots of community groups organizing events for us.
Right on.
We have talks and meetings. And
Yeah.
it's organized, and this is the beginning of it.
Okay.
See, that was what I was trying to describe to you.
Yeah.
That's what. That's what the Indians had in mind.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you come up here, you don't get any fish. Just go there and let's sell it.
So buy them off. Well, that's good. So you guys are like on like any social platforms or
Well,
anything?
the website is called Regenerate Cascadia Tour.
Okay.
So go to Regenerate Cascadia and you'll find the
Oh.
whole tour.
Yeah.
Come on over this, right?
All right, I'm just going to finish getting my boat ready. Knock them over.
I'm Emmy.
I'm Joe. Joe.
We usually have beads, and I had a tray full of beads that I was going to bring down so we could throw it out, but we're going to offer song. I usually have smudge, don't have that. What I do have is song and prayer. Hello, my name is Lana Jack. My Indian name is Huy-Ux-Pul. Huy-Ux-Pul means the ever-present cooling mist at the falls. So our Indian names connect us in that way to the land. The falls, the echo of the water off the rock at the falls, people, that's who we are, that's who we were, that's who we've been since time immemorial. And she's not dead and buried, like some people would say. She's our ancestor and she's very much alive. And when we go out, just wholeheartedly be in prayer, because she will answer back. And I know this because the water is going that way and the wind is coming that way, but we've seen ripples coming at us like this of her answering us back for the vibrations that we were giving her. So we're going to pound these babies hard and wake her up and remind her of her children that are scattered right now. It's not an easy story to tell, to be the last of my people here on this land. And I know that I've been called to bring forward what they've done to us as a people in truth. And so my mother's, this is my great grandmother, that's whose Indian name I have. Her name was Minnie Wesley Shawaway. That's my grandmother. She committed suicide behind, that was her last salmon feast. And it wasn't long after that she committed suicide. Behind the divide and conquer of how the United States government just dishonored us in every which way they could. Her Indian name was Sapum. Sapum. Huy-Ux-Pul. Sapum. Huy-Ux-Pul. All these pictures, that's Huy-Ux-Pul. She's alive. She'll answer us back today when we go out and make offerings, prayers, and good words and remembrance of her. She's not forgotten. She's not dead. So I'll continue to talk and tell you the plight of our people as we venture this way. So I hope your vehicles are locked. Lock your vehicles. Let's journey out to the point where Celilo Falls. We'll be right over spot. Celilo Falls. Alive. Celilo Falls. Since time immemorial, more ancient than any of us walking this earth today. Celilo Falls was taken prisoner of war March 10th, 1957. Took less than 4 hours to flood Celilo Falls and take her prisoner. Along with Celilo Falls, Chief Tommy Thompson. He's crying in the falls. In this picture on my back, it's a picture of our Chief Tommy Thompson crying in the falls. This is the hour of truth and reconciliation, truth and conciliation. And that requires truth to be brought to light. The truth about how Celilo Falls was unjustly put into solitary confinement. How her children were scattered to the winds. Some forced to be called Yakimas, Umatillas, Warm Springs, Nez Perce. Millions of dollars was paid to these tribes for the loss of Celilo Falls. Chief Tommy Thompson refused to take the money. He refused to put his signature on the line. He refused to sell his way of life. His salmon, his deer, his elk, his roots, his huckleberries. These are our sacred foods that have sustained us over time. Our relatives. We understood the symbiotic relationship that made us all relations. We understood that Celilo Falls was our relative and that we were to be her voice. And say no. No, don't flood Celilo Falls. What you do to Celilo Falls, you do to us. To make us a people to perish. Celilo way in. We've been called since time immemorial. We spoke our language. We knew our songs. We grew our hair long. Her children are lost today. To be remembered no more, except at one time they lived, as if though we're not still here, as if though Celilo Falls is not still here. Many of our elders will never speak of what's been done to them. Many of our ancestors left this world in total grief for this great loss. We've suffered. We've suffered like no other people because we've been condemned. Celilo Falls will go above her into the water and sing a song for her. remember her. She's not dead. She's alive. She's drowning in every toxin this river's been filled with. PCBs, nuclear waste, benzene, every kind of runoff from the farmers. She's drowning in these toxins. That symbiotic relationship, what's happening in that body of water right now, is upon us. Our chiefs took very seriously their part in the condemnation of this river. They cried and grieved. They feared God for their part in the condemnation of this river. It's in their writings. What will happen to us because we did this, because our part in this, to bring our river to her death, to bring the salmon to their extinction. This is where we're at. In this year, 2023, Lyle Longhouse didn't have one salmon for their salmon feast, not one. That's the sign of the times. That's where we're at. This river's been sitting at 68 degrees summer after summer. 69 degrees is uninhabitable for anything to live in there. We're at the tipping point. Nuclear waste is done away with this river in such a way. It's unfathomable. You don't understand. Can you comprehend where we're at? Human extinction is just around the corner. We cannot live without this river being alive. We cannot live without water. Water is our most sacred when we enter into ceremony. It's water in the beginning and water at the end. A reminder of this great life-giving force that we honor and cherish as a part of who we are and a part of everything that we have taken for hundreds of years, our stewardship over these things, over Celilo Falls, over the salmon, the roots, the berries, the elk, and the deer. The way in which this land was taken and stolen from us is a story of a park being planted on top of our cemetery. I'm going to invoke some of the old names of our people right here and right now. Huy-Ux-Pul, right there. Hold her up. Huy-Ux-Pul. Sapub. Ananisa. Yaistini. Dawadutla. Shuptukaween. Tamwas. Luwet. Taketlai. These are my relatives. I tell you by their names. I call them. Because they're here. They're right here. They were buried here. They were buried at the falls even, our chief Stucketlai. They were buried under this highway and under this railroad right over there. We had burial islands out there. They dug them up. There are still some here. Underneath this grass, underneath this, the name of Celilo Park, lay my ancestors. So let's go out to the point and sing Celilo Falls' song. Her name, Celilo Falls, is Huy-Ux-Pul.
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 Let's go to her. Follow in a single line, procession. Women first, these two women. A line that memorializes and remembers that Celilo Falls is not dead. Celilo Falls is alive. Song I offer to the ancestors. Smack is Patia, honey. And human one, and Latina. In Picun. Wayam. The ancestors. Songs that they've been carrying here for thousands of years, a way of life. Honoring all life. Understanding our mother is alive, has memory, has songs. All creation wakes up at crack of dawn to sing their song. This was the way of our elders, our ancestors here. Communing with the land, knowing that we are apart, not separate. Our very breath comes from her. Our life, the water, held in the highest, taking our stewardship over our mother, very serious today. Yesterday and forever. Take some of that gravel and toss it out right here. Everybody, toss it out into the water. With your prayers for her, be free one day. For her children to be free one day. To be who I am. Hello. So maybe we can just sit for a while. And prayer for her life that matters. Lana Jack is alive. She matters. She needs to be free. This river needs to be free. In order for it to clean itself, like any woman, it has to menstruate. It has to clean itself. And it can't. It's all blocked up. We're at a time when it's almost too late. If we're waking up in this hour, it's almost too late. Entire rivers are condemned beyond livability. Creeks disappearing, ponds, tributaries. Everything that lives in it and requires water to live off of. Everything's changing. She knew it. She knew it. In defense of YM, she said, don't bury her. You condemn all living beings. We all need that water. Can't emphasize enough the water. Salmon. The matriarchs. They were the real chiefs. So we become colonized. Went patriarchy instead of the matrilineal way. That's the marker that shows you exactly where Horseshoe Falls was. So we're literally standing where the falls was. Here. The water would just... The roar. Could you imagine My Indian name is the ever-present cooling mist at the falls. It was like the rainbow in the cooling everybody all the time. That was my Indian name. My wham to my name. My wham name. In a day when people were human, had hearts. They cut our hearts out. It wasn't long after Irene, Marie, Williams, Bruno ceased to exist. The grief was too much. I never got to know my grandmother. My mother died young. My sister, my brothers, they all died too young. This grief is too much. The loss is too much. We're almost gone now. When I'm gone, there will be nobody left to tell our story. In truth. Teach in the schools here. They don't even know Celilo Falls was ever here. I'll teach it in the schools. It's a shame on this nation for committing genocide on us the way they did on the falls. Because they couldn't have it. They couldn't have Celilo Falls. They couldn't make it Niagara Falls, a tourist attraction. Our chief wouldn't let him. My mom had a roar of a laugh, but you could hear her at Celilo Falls. That's why she had a big laugh. You could hear her at the falls. She ran the rocks. She ran them all. Packing fish, a penny on the dollar. There's a lot of confusion about how everything went down and not a lot of truth out there. Celilo AM, we were the Aboriginal title holders here. My mother was born right over there. There's old foundations on this other eddy over here. My mother was born right over there. Her mother was born around the way down by the bridge. We owned this land. Got the documents that said we were the landowners here. There's been 6 relocation plans, all meant to exterminate us. Take away our inherent sovereignty. I'm sure she still has a song in her heart. Gurgling toxins at the bottom of this lake. She misses the drums, songs, the laughter, the stories, the children playing. Gotta imagine a thriving community here. But then they said this little Indian is gonna go to boarding school. This little Indian's going to juvenile. This little Indian is gonna go to war. Bag bodies. Vietnam. This little Indian, he's crazy. gonna send him to Pendleton to the insane asylum. That was my her brother, McKinley Wesley. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. That's our story. That was her brother's story. He got sent to Pendleton for the loss. They said, oh, he's a drunk. Everybody was a drunk. Everybody was angry. She won't comply. She won't do what we want. She won't assimilate. She won't acculturate. He will send him to war, but he's not old enough, they said. Send him to war anyway. He doesn't need to be old enough to bag bodies. And then there was a village of elders left in the village over there. No more young people, no more children. This is how they did us. Because we never wanted to be removed from our home site. When I used to fish out here, we used to catch fish this big, and I'm not joking. They were so big. Even the steelhead, this big. Pull them out of our nets. Whoa. Oh, we couldn't believe it. Now you can't get a steelhead bigger than this. 10 pounds at most. 15, maybe 30. We used to fish for trout, Taylor Lake, where Google sits now. And they get to be the sovereign here on this land because they're billionaires. They create their own community, speak their own language, protect their own. We didn't have that. We still don't. Travel to Mount Hood to go get our huckleberries. These are our usual and accustomed places. You gotta understand. This is how we live off the land. That's how we claimed all these different sites up and down the Columbia River. Our usual and accustomed places. This is how we lived off the land. Cats now. They built the Dalles on top of some of our most fertile lands. Got cattail. There's a water source there that they covered up. Put a monument on it. The Wasco County judges, they thought for sure they were going to have Celilo as the part of the Dalles. They told the United States government, we just want 3 buildings, one for a post office, one for a courthouse, and one for a jail. They soon found out the state had no jurisdiction on Indian land. Well, we'll just take 1 building, they said, in the end, or a courthouse here. They wanted Celilo Falls so bad. We were hated so much. Town of the Dalles, we were less than a dog. It said, no dogs or Indians allowed here. That was at every storefront. And somehow, hundreds of our people just committed suicide by throwing themselves in front of the tracks. My great-grandmother used to have this little book Had gold leaf on the outside of this book. She logged in very small writing all the names and all the people. Who hung themselves in their jails here at Wasco County. Who hung themselves at Treaty Oak. Committed suicide, they said. Threw themselves in front of the tracks. Committed suicide, they said. Nothing unlawful going on here, they said. This same hate lives today. Just for being the last of my people, just for having the story, just for having the truth living in me. I don't have one ally in that village over there. It's the Yakima, Umatilla, and Warm Springs. When they took the Celilo settlement, Dalles settlement money, they became the dominant over here. And because we couldn't fish, hunt, or gather, we couldn't practice our religion no more. They put us in jail. It wasn't just that they took our chief and put him in a nursing home. It was taking him prisoner of war against his will, putting him on display as a defeated Indian. Symbolic of what happened to the Falls, what happened to him, what happened to us. That somehow we'd become the myth. Or we wouldn't even be anything at all, because they don't talk about us like we were actually a tribe, a band of people with inherent sovereignty. We scared them enough to think at least at some point Chief Tommy Thompson would put a stop to the flooding of the falls. They honestly thought that. There's a little bit conflict when he was born, how old he was. My documents, some people, the linear world, that wants to tell our story, said he was born in 1855, but when he signed up for housing up here, he put 1874. So he would have been more like 80-something or 90 rather than 100-something. Who knows the truth? What is the truth? Who cares about the truth? Genocide happened in front of everybody, and nobody stood up to say no. Don't let this happen. You're one people with the people across the river. Same language, same songs, same way of being, practicing our ceremonies, rituals together. That's what's missed most. It's community, the unity that we have. That's what's missed most. The children, laughter, the families. For your privilege to own our land, our resources, our souls, condemnation, eminent domain, manifest destiny, doctrine of discovery. I just want my family back. Had a great granddaughter born in foster care. She'll probably never know any of this. We've been made to forget ourselves. Just like Celilo Falls, forgotten. Today we're here to remember she's not dead but alive. I offer up this last verse. I raise it up. I want you all to raise your hand and say I. Thank you for remembering me. Thank you for honoring the fact that Celilo Falls is not dead but alive. Let's change the narrative. Let's give her voice. You can give her voice as much as I. Thank you. Got some beavers living around here somewhere if there's any left. Last year, 3 or 4 of them got ran over on the highway. Being part of the beaver clan here is quite powerful. Anybody else got a song in their heart?
Got a stone from our dead river that we're going to bring back alive for the children in our landscape. And it's the most polluted place where the village dumps all of the toilet water and shit. It's into the rural water bodies. Whenever they talk. This is not going to be well. So we can have responsibility to each other. That's our goodness. As a blessing.
Is that a fossil?
Yeah, a lot of fossils were pushed up from the same ancient ancestors.
Oh yeah. Rock collector.
Baricha is deep in the water. Baricha is
Proceed with your blessing.
I just like to feel the connection. We lost our way at our ancestors because they were destroyed by the trees. We're going to talk about regenerating Cascadia and then get back over to our ancestors. This tobacco comes from a place where psychological programs stone paths through the northern lands, connecting the Huy-Ux-Pul people. It's a the Tairona civilization, the Taironas and the Police, and the Sierra Nevada is on the right, on the Catchment to the south, and the Amazonian peoples to the east. The tobacco was brought to North America. The exchanges among those peoples was thousands of years to bring peace back there. To bring South Peace exchange. I was astonished to learn that tobacco was from South America. That it was from there. Because they had been smoking together in the Renaissance years. To me, this symbolizes the reunification of the Americas through the peace pipe and through the sacred river.
Chief Tommy Thompson had a peace pipe that he carried with him. I was at the elders in the Dalles, and this little old lady was telling me how tobacco is really sacred to your chief. I even smoked the tobacco pipe with him, his peace pipe with him when I was a little girl. I just put my lips to it, she said, because he said to. Because the pipe doesn't go around without everybody having a part of it. So I don't know the peace pipe way, but my chief carried a peace pipe in his medicine bag everywhere he went and practiced unity with others this way.
I don't know those ways either. I don't have the ceremony. I don't have the and I had my own hatred of tobacco because my grandparents were cigarettes when I was a kid. I was sick. And so for me, recovering the sacredness of this pipe was forgiving my own body. And that's been very helpful.
Are you going to offer it to the water? Oh.
I'd say Latin American. The caymans from West Coast.
Anybody else have a song or some words to share?
I have a song. I sang this in May at my mother's memorial. So it's for Celilo. I've been walking in my sleep, counting troubles instead of counting sheep. Where the years went, I can't say. I just turned around, gone away. I've been sifting through the layers, dusty books and faded papers. They tell a story I used to know. It was one that happened so long ago. and it's gone away yesterday. And I'd find myself on the mountainside where the rivers change direction across the great divide. And I have heard the owl a-calling softly as the night was falling with a question, and I replied, but she's gone across the borderline. She's gone away in yesterday, and I find myself on the mountainside where the rivers change direction across the great divide. And the finest hour that I have seen is the one that comes between the edge of night and the break of day, is when the darkness rolls away. And it's gone away yesterday, and I find myself on the mountainside where the rivers change direction across the great divide. And it's gone away in yesterday, and I find myself on the mountainside. It's where the rivers change direction across the great divide.
Anybody else? Got one?
My sister in an area channels a lot of beautiful songs for church. Some of you may know it. So join in the video. Look at the river as it winds down, our eyes like a tear going down, cheeks I creak to the body of blood, salty golden, holding a life of our own. Though we do not look at the river as it winds down, our eyes like a tear going down, cheeks I creak to the body of blood, salty golden, holding a life of our own. Though we do not look at the river as it winds down, our eyes like a tear going down, cheeks I creak to the body of blood, salty golden, holding a life of our own. Though we do not look at the river as it winds down, our eyes like a tear flowing down, cheeks I creak to the body of blood, salty golden, holding a life of our own. Though we do not look at the river as it winds down, our eyes like a tear going down, cheeks I creak to the body of blood, salty golden, holding a life of our own, holding a life, oh.
Get one of these bubbles here. Just think that I'm answering. These weren't here a minute ago. Find a bubble and connect with the falls. Answer that. They just popped up out of nowhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Take her prayer and her heart back with you. She's offering. May not seem like anything, but it's her prayer back at us.
Not really. Clearly not real.
She misses that. She misses all the joy. She fills your heart. This is beautiful. Told you she'd had your back somehow. So she's mother and she's all nature.
She's gonna be.
Celilo, I'm calling for you. Celilo, we are calling for you. Celilo, why I'm calling for you. Celilo, we are calling to you. Now let your water flow. I will sing for the river, carry in our soul, the top of the mountain into the sea. We all are one. Celilo, 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 together, Celilo. Celilo, why I'm Celilo. Celilo, now let your water flow. Let your water flow. Celilo, we are calling to you. Why I'm Celilo, we are calling for you.
To be free, let it flow. Let it flow. Free as it was always meant to